What's up, everybody? Out here around Morrison, Colorado for another Super Motovlog adventure. Today we have a couple of special things going on. First of all, I'm going to do a kind of new series. I'm going to start. I've done one a couple of years ago and then never went back to it, and I want to start doing it again. It's going to be called Monday Movie Review Day, Motovlog Monday Review Day, whatever. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I am, also, I'm going to be going, if any of this part looks familiar, this is the first time I will be going back on my motorcycle to the site that I crashed at early this year that put me out of commission until recently, out near Dinosaur Ridge. So this should be interesting for me, at least. I hope it is for you guys. Dinosaur! Yeah, Dinosaur! This time I will make sure that I go much slower, obviously, and it is these trucks and whatever in front of me, the truck in front of me is going to keep me from going too fast this time, so that's good. Sometimes traffic is good. Sometimes. Most of the time not. In this situation, it might be. So anyway, the movie that I'm going to review today is one that I watched last night called High Rise. And I'm not talking about your mom's jeans. I'm talking about like an apartment structure. That's what this movie was about. Oh, that sounds real interesting, huh? Well, it was actually. It was a movie that I had never heard of before. Oh, and here we go, going past Thunder Valley. Oh, I just got nailed so hard in the forehead. I don't even know. I've got like a centimeter or two of space between my goggles and my helmet, and somehow a giant bug just nailed me right in that spot. But here's Thunder Valley, going across Park. Had some races here not too long ago. Kid Roxon just crushed everybody, and he actually just won the season, I believe, the other day. So anyway, High Rise. Again, not your mom's pants. Talking the apartments. Movie not many people have heard of, I'm sure. Ooh, let's see. You guys good? I guess they're good. Alright, I'll take a break from the movie review for just a second, because this is the curve that I aided on. I was going, let's see, right now, my speedo says 50, but it's like 10, 15 miles per hour off. You see, I can see now the road curving way sharper. That's why I wrecked right there, flipped over that barrier. All I had to do was slow down. Oh well, it happens. Hopefully that kind of a thing won't happen to me again though. Taking my riding much more cautiously. It may not be quite as entertaining on the video, but to be honest with you, the video never really translates how fast I go anyway, so I don't think it really matters. But anyway, back to High Rise. This is a really weird movie. It kind of had like a Stanley Kubrick sort of vibe to it almost. I'm trying to think of another movie that the main actor is in. He's really popular. I'll put his name up here. But he's a pretty famous actor. If you see his face, you'll immediately know who it is. But anyway, he plays a doctor in this movie who moves into a new high-rise building that basically is supposed to be self-sustaining or self-sufficient in a way where everything that you would need is within the confines of the high-rise. They've got, typical stuff, pool, exercise rooms, stuff like that. But they also have like a supermarket on one floor. And the way that the high-rise is sectioned off is basically the rich people are up top, the poor people at the bottom. That's kind of the way it always is, SuperWolf. Yeah, I know, I'm just saying that's a major point in this movie. Because the architect who built the high-rise is one of those rich folk who lives on the top floors. And basically there comes a point where they're having power issues, and the rich people decide that they're going to not give the lower floors, the poor people, any power, and they're going to keep the power to themselves since they're so low. There's a lot of random stuff in this movie. My girlfriend came in about halfway through the movie, and she was like, am I just missing? Is it because I missed the first half of this movie? Is that why I don't get it? I was like, partially yes, but partially no, because it's just been this weird the entire time. But basically there's a doctor that just moves into this high-rise. He starts getting invited to some of the parties of the higher class people, and kind of quickly realizes that they're not very good people. And then the power one day just cuts off in the entire building, except for maybe the top floor, and I think it's only on because they had like a generator system they were doing with bicycles. Again, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't too clear in the movie, but sometimes I kind of like that in the movie, you know? I don't necessarily always want you to just tell me exactly what's happening. And I don't want it to be, you know, I know what's going to happen in the next scene because it's really obvious kind of a thing. To me, a good movie is something that makes you guess what's going to happen in the next scene. What's happening in this scene? What's going on? Granted, there's a point where that becomes just nonsense or nonsensical. I keep getting caught through these yellow lights. I'm like, got the worst timing the past 2 days, where it forces me to just gas it through these yellow lights, but oh well. If your exhaust doesn't make enough noise, make the rest of the noise with your mouth. That's what I say. So anyway, this doctor starts to kind of have like a mental breakdown. The whole building basically starts to have a mental breakdown, and it turns into anarchy. The lower level floors start clashing with the upper level floors, and this kind of weird battle takes place where they basically just trash the entire building. The supermarket, all the food goes bad, so everybody's kind of starving, which my question to the whole thing was, why aren't people just going out, you know, outside of the apartment complex, the high rise, to get more food? I don't know. That was kind of a weird part about the movie. One of the weird parts. But it all kind of comes down to this architect and his view on what the high rise, what he wants the high rise to be, and they kind of decide that they want to eliminate the lower, kind of more impoverished, is that a word, impoverished? One of the poorer families, the father, who's got a bunch of kids and has another one on the way, kind of gets into this weird psychopathic state where he's making a documentary of what's going on in the high rise, and he ends up, spoiler alerts, well, this whole thing's a spoiler alert, so if you didn't want spoilers, you're probably not watching the rest of this video. But he ends up getting up to the very top floor and faces the architect and ends up shooting him, and then the architect's kind of minions, in a way, kill that guy. This is all at a point where they decide to start cleaning up the high-rise and making it livable again. But the architect was kind of the one behind the idea to do that, I guess. So once they killed him, they went into more of an anarchy kind of state, and this doctor kind of takes over in a way. That's it's again, the movie kind of leaves you wondering what really happened, and I guess my point to this whole review is it was more of a visually entertaining movie than it was necessarily the storyline. There was a lot of interesting scenes that made you think, you know, what's going on. It was very artistic. I kind of liked it a lot. It's not going to be for everybody, for sure. In fact, it's probably not for most people, but I thought it was quite enjoyable. Look at this little town. Red Rock Cyclery. Happy Shack. So to wrap it up, basically I would say take your corners slow, especially if they're blind corners. Learn from your mistakes and conquer them. And when it comes to the movie High Rise, I'd have to give it a solid 3 out of 5 biscuits. 3 out of 5 sausage gravy biscuits. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for this one. Kind of a weird movie, a little hard to review, but I kind of enjoyed it, so I wanted to mention it to you guys. I'm going to continue to do this Monday motovlog movie review days. Hopefully every Monday I'll try to do a new movie. I love movies and I've seen a million of them, so I've got a lot of them that I can talk about. I was going to do Suicide Squad, but I started to record a motovlog for it and I realized I didn't like the movie enough to even want to talk about it. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode, guys, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Later!